Hello everyone, welcome to day 13 of my 77-day video challenge. Today I am going to talk to you all briefly about what yoga is all about and what did I learn over the years with my practice of yoga. Let me get started. So, my first interaction with yoga is through my parents. As I was growing up in the early morning, 5 a.m. or so, I used to hear the noises or sounds by them practicing those breathing techniques or various yoga poses and everything. That time, I didn't understand much of it, what that is all about. But as I grew up, I understood the importance of yoga and then I started practicing it. And the more I practiced, the more I got curious about it. Then I did my certification, the registered yoga teacher training here in Yoga Alliance with Yoga Alliance board. And once I got my certification, I started teaching yoga to students and local communities. I taught only because I wanted to deepen my practice of yoga, because the more you teach, the more you practice as well. So that is a one way of me learning more about the practices. Now, what yoga is all about? So, typically we think yoga is just the poses like asanas or practicing those yoga poses and everything. But there is much more. There are actually 8 limbs of yoga. Now, let me talk about them very briefly. So, the first one is called yamas. They are self restraints, like how we want to develop the self restraints or non violence or practicing truthfulness. These are some of the yamas first we need to learn. And then comes the second one is called niyamas, meaning the observances, like purification, purifying our body, keeping our body, mind clean and clear, restraining ourselves from negative thoughts and just following positive thoughts and all that. And being content, being happy with what we have, practicing gratitude, those kind of some of the practices. And then self study, like studying ourselves, understanding ourselves better, going inside and understanding ourselves better. So these are the first 2 limbs of yoga, that is yamas and niyamas. Then once after we complete these two, study of these two, then comes the asanas, the physical poses, whatever we typically see. Various poses, we start with a very simple poses of maybe standing pose, a dog pose, cat and all those things. And then as we develop ourselves, we jump into more advanced poses. So that is a third aspect. After the physical exercises comes the fourth one, that is pranayama, that is the breathing techniques, which helps us to deepen our breath and also expand our lung power and gives much more calmness into our mind as well. So that is pranayama. So after these four, then there are the next three. They are actually kind of connected, those three things. I'll tell you what those three are. The fifth one is withdrawing your senses, and then sixth is developing the focus, dharana, concentration, and then comes meditation. So before meditation, there are 2 stages which we want to develop. So what those are withdrawing our senses. Now, what do I mean by that is we have these 5 senses, and sometimes when we try to sit quietly, we get to tend to get away with our maybe sound. We hear some sound, we would just want to get up and go, or maybe we smell something, we just want to again move away and go and see what that is, getting curious about those. So instead of getting carried away with our senses, just turning ourselves into inside and gaining a control, maybe developing a control to withdraw those senses into ourselves. So once you do that, once you got comfortable with it, then we move on to that dharana, that is focusing. Like maybe we can took a simple object or a simple sound, and then keeping our thoughts only on that sound, keeping our thoughts only on that object. So doing this for multiple times, we will be able to develop that focus. So that is dharana. And once you do these two things, then you are ready for the meditation. So when you sit quietly, you won't get carried away with your senses. You already developed a sense of focusing on something. So then whenever your thoughts come, then you will be able to identify them. Oh, this is the thoughts happening in my mind, and then you will be able to generate a small gap between those thoughts. And as you practice more of this meditation, that gap tries to gets expanded more and more and more, and then you will experience more of like no thoughts zone. That is a bliss of meditation basically. So those are our 7 things, and once you do all these 7 things, then comes enlightenment, the samadhi, the final stage of yoga. So there are 8 limbs: yamas, niyamas, the asana, then pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So those are the 8 things. Now, what did I learn? I have been practicing yoga for last 10 plus years or so. So what did I learn is basically I will tell you 4 things. First thing is stability. Like as we start developing, or as I start practicing poses on yoga mat, the more and more I became stable. The stability in the body, first of all, brings so much calmness in our minds, and I started slowly observing the stability coming into my life as well. So not only just on the mat, but we bring, as we practice more, the stability happens to happen in our life as well. After stability, I say balance. Like I mean, once you do the simple poses, then you will be able to get into those balancing poses, like a tree pose or a warrior 3, or maybe a shoulder stand, something like that. So we start developing strength, and then we start doing those balancing poses, right? So as you develop that balance, slowly that jumps into our life as well. So I tend to experience those balance in my life. That is the second thing. And third is the core strength. I can't stress enough of that, because I could see how much that gave me strength, even for my running as well. It enormously helped me to do for my running as well. So you tend to develop a stronger body with that core strength. Even recently, I even attempted a headstand with a little support. I'm still going there of no support at all, but still I could do it with that developed core strength. I see that as a sign of developing that core strength. So that is a third thing. And last but not least is flexibility. So our body will become so much flexible. That is one thing which I'm still working on, which will help us to do those forward bends, backward bends very easily and comfortably. So these are the few things over the years what helped me, and what I saw are not restricted to just that yoga mat itself, and but I see in my regular day-to-day life also. So for anyone who tend to start or who want to start yoga, what I suggest is find a teacher, work with a teacher. That will be a best thing to do. And then, because they can see, they can assess you, and they can guide you in what you can do and how you can go about it. That is the first thing. And there are so many schools, there are so many groups available in each and every city nowadays. So find something what works in your schedule, and just visit one of the places and see if that is what something suits you. So once you're comfortable with yoga poses, then getting into breathing techniques, the pranayama, and then the meditation as well. So I really hope this generated some interest in you to at least try this ancient form of yoga, and which will bring this stability, calmness, and developing your core strength and flexibility and balance in our lives. I hope you enjoyed this session. I'll see you all in my next. Keep smiling and keep spreading happiness. Thank you.